All right, it's Monday, September 16th, just following up on the SPY here. You can see it's moved higher. Bought it here at the blue line on kind of a secondary buy of the day. I bought it here on bar number 2 early on, and I discussed how I broke even on that trade when it just took out the pre-market high and then couldn't follow through immediately. When I watched it come down, take out liquidity, and then pause here, come down again, and then give me a nice green bar. I bought it here at the blue line. Now it's heading higher. So the options right now are the 555 calls. I bought at 833. They're asking 920 right now, or bidding 897, asking 920. Last trade 84. So up over not quite a point, but getting up there above 9. So there's all kinds of ways to take basic gains, set up a no-risk trade. We'll see if it gets to the high of the day. Again, the context here is that you are a little bit of exhaustion risk on the daily bar, heading up, 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 up each day. So the momentum is a little tricky out of the gate sometimes, but you do expect after that weekly green close for it to take out the high of the week. So you're biased to the upside, and when it couldn't immediately, follow through here early, then logically it takes out liquidity first, and then you look for some kind of a buy opportunity. And I thought this was a good chance, and now we're following through a little higher. So it's kind of a choppy environment coming into the week with the Federal Reserve making their announcement on interest rates later in the week. That gets tricky, but I think there are some, little short-term base hit type gains along the way as you wait for that, and then we'll find out in the big picture. I still think, we're poised to head higher here, but you never know for sure in terms of what that announcement's going to be. Even if it starts lower a little bit, I still think it heads higher, takes out these highs right here. That's where it's heading after this week. So until the weekly chart really changes, as always, I'm going to be biased to the upside, but that announcement might throw a little volatility into the mix. Meanwhile, today it was a little tricky in terms of, starting up, going down. Certain stocks like Oracle were strong right out of the gates. This was actually the strongest one. I discussed how I also decided to buy Coinbase for a base hit gain here at this blue line, and it got up to the close of yesterday. And then I even went short on Amazon on that early choppiness in the morning to the downside, where it kind of went lower and took out the lows of the day. But you could see then it chopped up, and you kind of knew. I discussed how this trade was still in an uptrend, even though I expected it to first go lower. So just wanted to see what might unfold. But once I kind of saw the market holding up here in general, then you just were anticipating it was taking out liquidity, and this was a buy to get back to the top of the range. So not convinced it's going to necessarily take out the high, but pretty high probability it was going to trade up into the range. So lots going to depend this week what happens with the news, but there's still a bias to the upside until the weekly chart, in this case, turns red again. And you do have, as you're heading up here strong, you do have some targets right here. So that's why I think one way or the other, it's going to take that out first before anything happens. And we'll see if then it, really builds up momentum to all-time highs and continues higher. Seems to be enough of a pausing action in this zone where you could get a whole nother strong leg up if it wants to. But again, always we're going to judge the weekly chart for the bigger picture context, and even at a little bit of exhaustion risk, still going to play the upside, in some cases aggressively. If we get more of a 2 down day and then a 2 up before we hit these highs, that could be a nice aggressive buy. In the meantime, you're kind of playing momentum to the upside, so that's why you're nimble a little bit when it doesn't quite get going right out of the gates, but you look for opportunities after liquidity is taken out should it unfold. So that's what seems to develop here in the afternoon. We'll see if we get to the highs of the day, and again, it's going to be something where you're just very careful trading this week until the Fed makes its announcement, and until price decides how it wants to react to that.